Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to some more Zero Hour. Welcome back to a Pro 1v1 match. Again, another replay I found from the Gentool data storage, and two decent players. We've got Fargo down in the bottom left of Oil Rampage. He's playing with the GLA Stealth in the blue. Up in the top right, we've got AK Magnum, which is Tasmani in the Superweapon faction. So yeah, Tasmani seems to have permanently changed his name because he's not been called Tasmani for a hell of a long time. Remember in World Series, was it 2016 when I won the World Series? Whenever the final was, 2015, 2016, whatever that was. But yeah, Tasmani is the same guy from that final. AK Magnum is the same guy from that final. But yeah, he hasn't used Tasmani. I keep calling him that, but he hasn't used Tasmani name for a hell of a long time. Maybe we start calling him Magnum now. Okay, so we've got Fargo going for the oils, it seems. I think I prefer the USA here, because I think the Rebels produce slower than the Rangers. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure they do. I think it would be a lot easier here for the USA to get all the oils a lot quicker. I actually think he should be making more Rangers here as well. I think he should be literally putting them everywhere. But I think from one of them, we will be upgrading the capture upgrades. So going to grab this one. Going to grab this one. Going to grab this one. And this one back here. This map is called Oil Rampage for a reason. Only saying this yesterday. Or whenever I don't know when you've been watching this video. But yeah, I was saying it on a live stream recently that actually I just realized that these are actually supposed to be probably pools of oils. Pools of oil, rather. I didn't really realize that before. Yeah, looks like it. So, a lot of oils being captured, as you would imagine. First technical coming through. Going to run to an EMP. EMP shuts it down, but there is a terrorist in there, as well as some RPGs and a worker. I thought he was going to be able to grab that bunker, but saying that, Magnum has actually managed to get in there and shut that down. A worker's gone down. There is a terrorist still running around. Yeah, definitely would be preferring the super weapon here, because even though on a normal game where there are not this many oils, on like a normal open map, stealth should be winning all the time, really. But on a map like this where it's actually quite narrow, you can drop down a few EMPs and pretty much the whole map's covered, plus a few bunkers here and there as well. I actually think it's going to be painful. What's he going for? He's going for a hijacker. Actually, hijacker is something Fargo does like to go for often. But yeah, I just think when you get all these oils, you drop down a few AMPs. That's actually a very, very good map for Superweapon. And no doubt then you'll start seeing just EMP spam combined with the Auroras, and then what can stealth really do against all of that. If it turns into Superweapon war, the Superweapons for the Superweapon gen are actually half the price of the Scuds. Although it does require 2 particles to take out 1 Scud. Takes 2 Scuds to take out 1 particle, actually, as well. The timer is less for the particles as well, so we could be on for a massive Superweapon war here. I don't know quite what I've let myself in for. Let's continue watching and find out. This worker here is going to be denied, but there's a load of technicals there, so that V is going to be chased away. Are these technicals just going to run into the EMP? Just run into a massive army, really, and don't achieve anything. Does manage to pick off 1 V, actually, saying that everything goes down there. Just for 1 V, you have to question if that's worth it. If you look at the XP here, Magnum is way ahead of 514 compared to Fargo's 142. And the Aurora spam is no doubt going to start very, very soon. You got to think as well, with that refinery, all your vehicles are much cheaper as well. So it's kind of like a different version of Zero. It's like where crazy money and cheaper vehicles. What kind of games would that result in? And this is your answer here on Oil Rampage. Tasmani not... Well, sorry. I don't know what to call him anymore. Magnum or Tasmani. He's not actually collecting from those crates as of yet. You have to question whether it is worth making a new supply for it, or just pulling one of the Chinooks and collecting from there and actually making an extra one here. Or do you just leave it until that's completely mined out and then start collecting there later? Because it's only 8.8k left, so you could say maybe not even worth making the extra Chinook. Massive army of V's now moving out, and Fargo doesn't really have an answer for this at the moment. He's trying to wrap around here with a load of technicals. There's a number of ambulances here. 4 ambulances in the mix here. Maybe a little bit overkill. Maybe you could have stopped at 2 or 3. I can understand 2, like the ambulances can repair each other. 4, yeah, a little bit overkill. Bit of an unload there. Bit of a messy unload though, because they've just unloaded in front of the tunnel. Tunnel is going to be used to clear things up. Here comes the Aurora though, and that is a monstrous hit there on Fargo's army. Fargo's army literally gets obliterated by one Aurora. Looking like quite a one-sided match so far. Is Fargo going to be able to repel this? And if so, with what? It's going to be probably buggies. Buggies and quads is the thing to repel this, and mass stingers. Yeah, as of now, Magnum is completely controlling the game. Did say I preferred that army, and so far everything is going his way as well. Definitely prefer his position over Fargo here, but maybe Fargo's got a secret surprise ready for Magnum. John McKell picks off one unit. Stinger might pick off another unit. Here comes an Aurora, picks off one of the oils. This guy goes flying, not quite into the stratosphere this time, just into whatever's one down from the stratosphere. There's something. Is it heliosphere? I don't know. I think heliosphere is 1, but I don't know if it's above or below the stratosphere. The stratosphere is the highest one, isn't it? Okay, we've got a number of buggies out now, and they're going to run straight into the V's. Buggies cannot take many shots from missile defenders before they go down. Ooh, that's a beast of a TNT. Kills mainly ambulances, but of course you would. He's going to maybe get the Colonel Burton. Does get the Colonel Burton. It's a very, very nice TNT. Here comes 3 Auroras, though, and some Comanches. Or 1 Comanche. In fact, 2 Comanche already. No AP ammo yet from Fargo. Magnum is floating 13k. Fargo on about 8k. Still not collecting from here. And he does have supply lines upgrade. Very, very important to get supply lines upgrade, because the oils then bring in an extra bit of cash as well. So you could actually say USA is even more overpowered on this because of that oil boost. It gets 10% on all your oils. So yeah, more important for USA actually. Ooh, one oil does go down. I thought the refinery was going to protect it then, because some of the bullets or some of the whatever that's firing, I don't know if you call it bullets or not, was actually hitting the refinery there. One oil there picked off by Fargo, but he is going to lose quite a few quads. Continuing the push though, 1V there going down. I think actually bringing a TNT would be more efficient here, because he is wasting quite a lot of stuff. And this wasn't very protected. You could easily unload some terrorists there and hit it. Here comes the first particle cannon now from Magnum. Fargo definitely the one under pressure here, even though he just picked off 1 oil there. I mean, if you take into account the extra 10% that he's getting on all the oils, plus he'd already taken out that one and that one and that one. Yes, so he's ahead. But Fargo, what he's got in his favor is that if that Skoda manages to fire, it will cause a lot more damage than a couple of particles. Here comes the Auroras. Very, very nice hits, it looks like. Most of the Auroras escape. Very, very nice hit there. Number of quads, number of units going down, and Fargo is in a little bit of survival mode at the moment. Pushes this back. 1V gets picked off. 2Vs get picked off. Maybe another one. These buggies are always going a little bit too close to my liking. Another 2Vs there. That's decent. Still, I would say Fargo is behind, but he's still in the game. One marketplace down over here on the left side. Magnum is now floating 20k. I think Magnum is just quite confident that he's going to win this game, that he doesn't feel the need to spend all his cash. He has hit some of his own Vs there, though. What an explosion. I love the explosion from the Auroras. Even though it does seem crazy overpowered sometimes when you're like playing a 3v3 DEFCON and one of them just kills your entire army of overlords or whatever. The explosion, you can't deny, is a super cool part of the game. Really, really cool. Trying to get some B kills here for himself. I think Magnum really is showing off at this point. He's got 25k float. He's got another particle on the screen. I don't know why he's not dropping down a few more, though. He's now mined out on his main and not collecting from these crates, so that's definitely a mistake now. No reason why he wouldn't. Well, I mean, he's got 30k anyway, I suppose. Yeah, I really think stealth has to do something early on this map. Because this map really does throw normal balance out of the window. Like on a normal map, for example, GLA might be more favorable of an army to have than tank, but on this map, you have to question whether tank is actually better because the red guard's producing in twos. And then you're forced into head-on engagements, and GLA isn't really good in head-on engagements. So yeah, normal balance really does change a hell of a lot on this. Supply drop zone, dropping off some cash with the supply lines upgrade. That drops off an extra 10% as well, so $1,650 that just dropped off. Without it, it'll be $1,500. Here comes the Spectre, and another oil is going to go down. We've got 4 particles now out, and I wonder if Fargo is going to stand any chance here at all. If anything, maybe a sneak attack or something like that will be able to get him back into the game, but currently he has been the one taking all the damage. All of his attacks have been completely stopped. He's either ran into bunkers, EMPs, or just ran into Vs back there. The oils are getting picked off by the Spectres and Auroras. Got a couple of Scuds now. One there, one here. With this amount of particles, though, those Scuds can just be taken down. Fargo uses a GPS scramble for his army. And here is the first particle cannon. Looks like he's going to Aurora it and the particle. I actually don't think this is that good of a play, to be honest. Because I think you should have shot it with the Aurora first and then particled it. Because the Aurora is then limited to only taking it down to the hole, not further. Now he's having to use the second one. I mean, he's probably won the game anyway. But that was a waste of a second Aurora. And the second thing is actually moving the particle cannon around and actually killing them workers. Moving it around as much as possible does a little bit more damage. Whereas he kept it in one spot for a long time before finally moving it. And he even moved it off and like hit one of the workers when he moved it completely off the land. But Magnum is still floating 20k. I don't think he feels the need to to do very much, to be honest. The Auroras come in and hit Fargo's tunnel as well as this black market. Yeah, Fargo really is going to need to make something happen because currently not a lot is happening in his favor. But saying that, it is very hard. Pretty much the only way of taking down these EMPs is with a TNT or buggies. There's pretty much no other way. But buggies on these hills and stuff, gonna have a hard time. Buggies here, I mean, the Vs are always going to be here and the Aurora's going to come. So yeah, it's going to be very, very hard actually for the stealth here. And that Aurora does escape. I think it shot that building. I think actually since he's got loads of cash, I think another airfield and making a few more Auroras and even just suiciding them on the oils. I actually think that's good. Because you might give him a bit of XP, but actually taking away some of these oils. Like if you killed that one and that one, it's worth more than 3 markets. Let's see. Is that going to go down? Yeah, it does go down. Comes in with the Spectre as well. A little bit overkill on the Scuds again. Wasn't moving the particle the whole time. I think what he was trying to do is like distract Fargo with that and then came in with the Vs, but you got to remember actually Tasmania was probably the one who was more distracted there with the support powers because There's nothing Fargo can do about those support powers. He's going to be solely focused on the Vs. There's nothing... This is not going to really distract him. It's not like you're doing a multi-pronged attack, like an attack on the right and then an attack down the middle. That probably wasn't going to distract him much. Probably distracting Tasmania himself or Magnum himself more than anything. Here comes another particle. Kills an oil. Kills an arms dealer. And kills a market. I'd say that's a decent hit. I think at this point, Magnum's just in clear-up mode. He really is just deleting Fargo from the map. He's got another one to fire in 10 seconds. And yeah, what is Fargo going to do about this? There's nothing he can do. It's literally impossible. I think this is a really good showcase about what I said. On any normal map, Tournament Desert, Lagoon, Snowy Drought, maybe not Snowy Drought, maybe Snowy Drought, I don't know. Some of these maps, you have to say that stealth is better than Superweapon, but in this map here, in this example, you drop down a few MPs, you get all them oils, you can get the oils faster as the USA. You have to say Superweapon's a lot more powerful, and Magnum's floated between 20 and 30k pretty much the entire game apart from now, and comfortably in a winning position here. It's really, really interesting. Massive army of Vs now moving in. Fargo's doing a good job of picking these off. And a good job of like hanging in there, to be honest, despite the massive beating he's been taking so far. Because there's another particle ready to fire now, by the way. Fargo has a battle burst. Nice unit mix, really. It's a battle burst. He's got some buggies. Particle is now even on the buggies. That's definitely Magnum messing around now, because there's no way you would just particle these buggies. Buggies are so fast at moving out of the way. You'd go for more dead cert hits, which is basically down here. Yeah, Magnum playing good, but he's just a much superior army for this map. Yeah, it has been doing well with the V pushers, the laser lock we just saw then. He could have force fired the ground then and maybe saved a couple of units. I think earlier on mixing in 4 ambulances a little bit questionable, to say the least. Here comes another particle. Fargo doing a good job at moving his workers out of the way temporarily and then bringing them back. But yeah, a second particle now should be able to finish that. Don't need to waste any auroras or anything. Why is the next particle not firing? I want to start the particle there, so you kill the worker and just move in and just leave it. Okay, that's a little bit strange. What the hell is he doing, man? Didn't need to waste an aurora there. Yeah, don't need to be wasting any of this, but I think... Oh, a sneak attack. Didn't even see the sneak attack. What a leaflet, though. What a leaflet. Even disables a stealth rebel there. And disables the worker. There's nothing really Fargo can do. Fargo's trying to bring more units here into the tunnel, but is it even worth popping there? You have to question, because there's so many Vs there. Another EMP is being built right next to the sneak attack. And actually, why are those units not being killed? Well, they're killed now, he quits. But why were they not being targeted by the Vs? Well, bit of a one-sided affair there. Magnum was pretty much winning every single engagement, or at least more beneficial engagements pretty much everywhere. Collected more cash, he floated more cash. Yeah, he made more secondary eco, better army. Aurora hits were decent. Sneak attack in the end did nothing really from Fargo. Did any of Fargo's attacks really do anything? Apart from maybe killing one oil there on the right side. I think this is just a really good example, whilst that was a one-sided affair, just a really good example of when the players are quite kind of evenly matched. I think maybe Magnum is a little bit lower level than Fargo. But just shows you on oil Rampage, actually, the normal balance does change completely in Superweapon now. More powerful in GLAs. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, let me know what strategy would you employ here to try and take down that Superweapon earlier on. What would you do? Would you send a worker sneaky up to the top left? Or would you do some kind of crazy all-in just on one supply, like maybe 3 full technicals or something to try and win early? Because if you let the Superweapon get so many oils and start dropping down the EMPs, you're going to have a very, very hard time. Like, how do you get past them EMPs, man? It's just so difficult. So yeah, GG. Well played to Magnum. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and see you